from transshipping more goods through that country. So,
Evildoers, that's a good word, of which there are many.
yes, there are. Right? There are, Mr. President.
You're doing a good job, Wilbur. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Been very, we've been tough. Go ahead, fellas.
Mr. President, the comments that have been made today about balance is absolutely essential. I mean, managing job creation and controlling cost at the same time has got to be the major factors in this mix. 2 points that I'll make.
Deficits too?
Absolutely.
You know, there are some people don't believe in deficits. They think it doesn't matter. To me, I think it matters a lot.
I think it matters a lot. 2 points that I'll make. One, to kind of put a stamp on what Senator Portman said, AK Steel is the only manufacturer in America that makes the electrical steel that is necessary for the transformers that feed and produce electricity in our electric grid. China, we are at risk of losing that industry, and if we lose that, we are absolutely potentially at hostage by the Chinese for management and maintenance of our electrical grid. Number two, you've made a big case, and I think you have rightfully so told the world that America is open for business, and the regulatory reforms that you've done, the tax reforms that you have done, has put America back in business. One of the biggest businesses that is promoting job creation today is the oil and gas industry. Right. And in eastern and southeastern Ohio, big projects like ethane cracker plants, they require a tremendous amount of steel. We've got to make sure that whatever we do in this formula keeps cost down, because those projects are huge. I mean, they are massive. You're talking about $6 to $8 billion projects, and big cost increases in steel could be a big deal. So we got to balance the job creation with the cost.
I agree, and I know that area very well. You're right. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. President. At home in southeast Missouri, we have a real example of where we lost 900 jobs in March of 2016 because our aluminum smelter closed. And I believe that these aluminum smelters can be reopened. I don't fall underneath the premise.
And for a different reason, too. Because of what we've done, our energy prices are going so low, our electric costs are going so low, that other countries aren't going to be able to compete with us. We're really doing a great job of bringing them down. And a lot of that had to do with the tax cuts, but it has to do with lots of other things, too.
Exactly.
So go ahead, tell me about that.
When you look at southeast Missouri, the median income household is $40,000. It's one of the poorest congressional districts in the country. And when we lost 900 jobs with the average salary of $70,000 a year, that hit home in the Boot Hill of Missouri. And without a doubt, if you just look at the numbers of the aluminum production in China, that in 2000 was 10% of the world's production, and in 2015 was 54%. There's a problem, Mr. President, and I believe that we can have the production back, and we have a vacant facility in New Madrid, Missouri, that we want to open, and we want to create more jobs. And I applaud you for looking at 232 and looking at a reasonable approach to make sure that we're open for business in all industries, not just one.
Well, we all have to remember that there is no tax or there is no tariff if they come in and build plants in this country. So there is no. We're just talking about something, but there is nothing. Steel's a little bit different than a car. It's a little bit different than a washing machine or any of the other things that we're doing or talking about doing. But nevertheless, you build your factory, you build your plant in the United States, there is no tax. So that's a big difference. That's why I think you're going to see General Motors, they're coming back. A lot of companies are coming back, and they're coming back to areas that you represent. It's a good feeling. That's a really good feeling. Maybe I'll just have Bob finish up. Do you want to do that, Roy? Were you going to say something?
I was going to say, like the AK Steel, though, we need to be very careful here. There is only one American producer, but there are lots of American buyers. Those electric motors in the washing machine, the generators, the grid, all of that is dependent currently on a lot of electric steel coming from somewhere else. I think the balance of keeping that company in business,
good balance,
while you keep all these other companies, it's going to take a long time to either expand or have more competitors here So we need to be very thoughtful about all the other buyers of that product that has only one American source. So it is a great example, but it's a great example to remember that washing machine motor as well as all the other things that electric steel is used for, sir.
It's a good point.
Mr. President,
The word
can I
balance, the word balance is very important.
Can I one
Yes, go ahead.
point, taking off on, what Roy said? As you apply, as you and Secretary Ross apply 232, and I understand the cautionary notes from some of my colleagues, I think it's important that we always keep in mind China's excess capacity. And China's excess capacity doesn't mean you aim 232 just at China, because China's excess capacity, as you point out, is spread elsewhere. And the best example was your comment on oil country tubular steel through Korea. And as Rob said, Korea doesn't drill itself, it just is the the pass-through point. But because China's excess capacity is in some ways infected steel production or steel sales, not production, throughout the world, it's important that 232 be aimed at China's excess capacity and in countries all over the world.
Right. I agree with that. Maybe you could just a very brief discussion of where you are with NAFTA, because this is a group that's very interested in NAFTA.
Well, I've spoken to some of these members here, Mr. President. I think we're making progress on NAFTA. There was a lot of anxiety at one point as to whether or not we'd be in a position where we would have to withdraw in order to get a good agreement. Our view is, number one, that NAFTA has not served the United States well in all respects. It has served some people very well, but other people, and overall it has not done a good job. I think we're making real headway. I feel like, particularly with respect to the Mexicans, that we are making headway. We have a number of issues that we still have to work our way through, but I'm hopeful that we'll be in the position, and I think the most important, to get a good deal, one that you'll find acceptable, but most importantly, I want it to be an agreement that the vast majority of Republicans and Democrats support. I think this is very important, that we have a new paradigm in steel, that we get 20 or 25 Democrats in the Senate and a large number of them in the House to vote for this deal, and I as well as, of course, the larger, and I think that's very much in reach, something that we can do.
Well, I want to thank everybody very much. I really would like to see you come back with a counter proposal on the infrastructure. I think we're going to get that done. I really believe that's we're going to get a lot of Democrats, we're going to get a lot of Republicans, we're going to get it done. It's something we should do. We have to fix our country, we have to fix our roads and our tunnels and bridges and everything. So if you can, work together on that, and I am ready, willing, and able. It's very important. And then, of course, this week I know you're working very hard on DACA. Everybody in the room wants DACA, and let's see if we can get that done, and it would be a great achievement. They've been talking about it for many years, and if we could do it, it would be a great achievement, and it would be something on a humane basis would be excellent. So I want to thank you all for being here. If you have any suggestions, call me, call Gary, call Wilbur, call Bob. But I very much appreciate you being here, and if it's necessary, we'll have another meeting to iron out some points. But on infrastructure, that is such a natural for us to get done, and I think we could probably do it. Thank you all very much. Thank you.
Welcome to the Shark Show Radio Podcast, Long Island's #1 podcast station.